So, good morning, everyone. This week's Torah portion, Va'era, it's the second portion in the book of Exodus, and we're really getting deeper and deeper into the story of Moses going up against Pharaoh, going back to the way the eternal presence reveals itself to him, to Moses, with encouragement and tools, and you can do this, you can do this. And the overall theme that really jumps out to me this week, today, is Torah saying, what is it that can open to or affect or turn around hardened hearts? Are there words? Are there words that can move a hardened heart? Are there words that can move a heavy heart? Whether or not that heart is closed by the individual lust for power, perhaps that's Pharaoh, although I don't see it that way, that any of this is an individual acting, and I'll talk more about that. But Torah is clear. Sometimes Pharaoh bears responsibility for the hardening and the heavying of Pharaoh heart, the heart that's closed to suffering. Sometimes, though, it's the flow of life. It's life. It's the karmic flow that we could say these different emanations of the divine represent, that's hardening Pharaoh's heart, that Pharaoh is in this karmic, traumatic, human limited place in a whole chain of separation and illusion that leads to violence. So whether it's our individual responsibility, that whether we ourselves have done something to harden our hearts, whether we're turning away, looking away from the effect of our words and the effect of our actions, and we have some responsibility there, or whether we're just all players in this incredible catastrophe of human life unfolding. What are the words that can, are there words? That's what Torah is saying. Are there words that can affect the heart? And last week, Torah introduced how the people are groaning, moaning, crying out from the heavy labor of enslavement. And what I noticed is this week, toward the beginning of the Parsha, Moses is communicating with the divine. So there's some, again, back and forth, there's some communication that humans do have access to that can affect how things are going to unfold. And in this time, Yud He Vav He, the unpronounceable, unformed, mysterious, that intentionally is revealed to Moses, uses the word nakah. I heard what I heard from the people. It's translated as moaning, and in the parsha at the beginning, the God figure says to Moses, "I was moved because I heard et nakah, nakah. I heard the nakah." And so I was doing all this, looking in different sources, what is the nakah? And I have a beautiful chavrusa in Jerusalem. My friend Lisa, who is from the dynasty of the Chernobyl Rebbe, the Mayor Enaim, and so she's Israeli. So she explained to me, she said, well, in modern Hebrew, the nakah is the dying breath. It's the dying breath. So what Elohim, what Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh heard that moved Yud-Heh-Vav-Heh to compassion, what happened between the human and the everlasting that brought forth compassion for the state of enslavement. Well, the words, the sound wasn't words, right? It was the sound of the nakah, the dying breath. And there was a sound put to this dying breath. And the Parsha also talks about how their spirit, their ruach was crushed. So they were dead. They were dead. And yet through their death, what came forth out of this dying, what came forth was this sound that stirred compassion, that awakened the compassionate heart, which is, of course, how we want to think of the eternal presence as an awakened heart. And so I was thinking, well, what was the death? What needed to die? And I want to say that what I've seen in myself over and over, and what I think we're seeing in the world, I think we're seeing it on all sides of every conflict in our country, in Israel, Palestine. We need the death of victimhood. Because when we're just stuck in the identity of victimhood, we don't recognize how our own actions are contributing to the death, right? We feel powerless. So I think what the portion is telling us at the beginning is the journey of humans is to come into our recognition, our understanding that the kind of God that we need, the kind of overall energy in the world that we need will arise from the way we are communicating with it, right? That our actions matter, our choices matter. What doesn't matter, and this is what Pharaoh is here to learn, and what we are here to learn from Pharaoh's stories, it doesn't matter if you brought this on yourself or not, right? I mean, in one sense, Toyrah presents Pharaoh as the ultimate victim. God hardens Pharaoh's heart, and Pharaoh says no, and there's more death and destruction. So in one sense, Pharaoh, who is the holder of the greatest human power, truly is a victim. And we have to face the death of this identification with victimhood, and that is the nakah. And right in the beginning, that's what God says to Moses. I have to hear the nakah. I have to hear that the humans are willing to step forward out of victimhood. Even when you might totally be a victim, you cannot identify with victimhood. It's so hard. And we so need compassion for ourselves and for everyone. And even for not for God, but our compassion for ourselves and for everyone who's acting as if their actions aren't causing harm, right? We have to generate the compassion that will then give rise to this, the God of compassion. And this co-arising of I'm using the word God to cover a lot of territory. The co-arising of this God of compassion is really how this whole parsha starts out. It really is the backdrop, or the underlying teaching, or Torah's underlying understanding of why we go to the extreme of these plagues. And the way I see that is that in the opening verses of Va'era, which means uh, reveal, I revealed, or I was revealed, or I allowed myself to be revealed. There's a lot of different understandings of what's being communicated in the word Va'era, but Elohim is the manifestation of the divine that is speaking. So, and it's actually Torah that says it's Elohim speaking. And the text, though, says actually it's Yud He Vav He who's speaking. And then so that's the first line. Elohim spoke to Moses and said to him, I am Yud He Vav He. So there's many different names and manifestations of the divine all the time. And I think Elohim actually, because it's a plural word acting as a singular, right? And you can look at the first, the very, very first line of this week's Torah portion and see Elohim, plural, v'daber, speaks in the singular masculine. So it's the plurality of all the manifestations of the divine as one, contained as one, or not contained. It's invisible and beyond contained or not contained, but it's this complete unification of the one and the many that Torah is in relationship to. And then Torah is telling us that Moshe right now is in relation to Yud He Vav He, the mysterious letters. And then the very next line in the Parsha is, I didn't reveal myself to your ancestors as Yud He Vav He. I revealed myself to them as El Shaddai. So yet another possible emanation, possible variation, possible manifestation. I'd love to hear what words come to everybody for the divine. It's we have so what is it, right? What is it that causes us to come into connection with the specific one that we're in connection with all the time? And I think that what this Parsha and Torah is telling us is it's our actions. If we show up in compassion, we are invoking and bringing down the Godhead, the God presence of compassion. That's the co-arising, that our compassionate hearts and the compassion of that is so needed in the world today co-arise. They arise together. And thinking back to the name, yet another name that was revealed to Moses in last week's Parsha, Ayeh Asher Ayeh. What is that name? What is that? And I think it refers to, I'm always here. I am what I am. I will be what I will be. I will be with you. I am never not with you. And I think what these two parshiot are saying is, my compassionate nature may be hidden from you. Compassion in the world may be hidden, and it's always here. If something is hidden, it means it's there. We just can't see it. It's hidden from us. So what is it that what does all of this call upon us to do? it calls upon us to understand that our actions, the way we show up, the way we take responsibility for our part in the flow of horrible things, that is the condition for the co-arising of the great compassion. Because we know that the suffering in the world, the wars, the climate catastrophe, they're way beyond what any one individual could do. So it's so easy for us to just throw our hands up. And Torah saying, no, 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 no. Moshe, you don't understand. And the divine so wants us to understand that we do have a role, that it's giving Moshe, magical rods, and it's engaging with all of the magicians in Pharaoh's court, that, yeah, we do have powers. And the greatest power we have, though, is to hear each other's cry of suffering and to respond to that. And when we do that, then the divine will allow us to see it. And I just want to end with another incredible piece from Jewish wisdom about the co-arising of humans, of our consciousness, and the consciousness of compassion, of the God of compassion. It's that this Vayera, the name of this week's Parsha, it could be interpreted, because it's paired in the opening of the Parsha. I revealed myself. It could mean I allowed myself to be recognized, or I made myself recognizable, and that's paired with I didn't reveal myself to the ancestors, right? I revealed myself to them as El Shaddai, which is this beautiful image of the maternal mother love God. That's what they needed, and thank goodness they got that. I mean, would humans be here today if our ancestors hadn't gotten some of that maternal, loving, compassionate, nourishing God? But in the first verse of Va'era, it says that Elohim revealed Elohimness to Moses as Yud He Vav He, and didn't reveal itself, that nature, to Moshe's ancestors. So the pairing of the two, what it means, and you can see that the Torah commentators over more than 1,000 years each put forward different ideas. So it can mean either I didn't allow myself to be recognized, or they couldn't see me. So again, this idea of recognizing each other, recognizing that we are in relationship with life as it unfolds. Uh, the recognition has to co-arise from our actions. We have to learn how to show up in a way that is going to bring the compassionate love down. And the fluidity of the identity of this Yod He Vav He is really highlighted. This is the first time I saw this in this week's Parsha, that when Moses is going back and forth with Yod He Vav He, I can't do this, I don't have words. Yod He Vav He says to Moses, okay, I place you in the role of Elohim. So if we create a separate Elohim, a separate Yud He Vav He, then and we put it on a pedestal, and we say, okay, you're responsible for everything, wow, we lose the capacity that we have to show up in the role of Elohim. It's not that we are Elohim, but we can be placed in that role through our actions of compassion. So I just want to end by saying that compassion is what brings the divine Shefa, the flow, out of hiding. And the book of Exodus, of Shmot, is about the collective. So it's not just Moses, it's about the collective. How does a whole collective show up so that we are generating the energy so that this divine compassion, divine wisdom can manifest to us and really affect the course of our lives and the course of our human history. So I just want to end with a blessing that we, in the darkest of times, in the places that are the scariest, the most constricted, that we can rise up with compassion and create a relationship a dynamic relationship with the true source of compassion, so that we can change and affect how life is unfolding. Thank you.